Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Blender for Beginners. In this week's episode we're going to look at how to create a basic human base mesh. Okay, so it's going to be a very simplistic human model. I'm going to do that through box modeling and using a couple of simple techniques including the mirror modifier and multi-resolution. So the first thing we do is make sure we've got a cube in our scene, which we've got here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go into edit mode. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this, we're going to start extruding out the body and then the arms and then the legs. But the first thing we need to do is, we're going to use loop cut and slide to cut that in half. And then I'm going to press Z on my keyboard to go into wireframe mode. Make sure that I've got face select tool down here selected. And then using the B button for box select, I'm going to drag over and make sure that I've selected all the faces on one half. I'm going to press Z to come back to my material mode. You can see I've got them all selected there. Then I'm going to come over to the left hand side, and under the remove option I'm going to click delete and delete the faces by using the faces option. There we go. Now next thing we need to do is I'm going to go into the modifiers menu and I'm going to add the mirror modifier, and I'm going to click Y so that I've got it mirrored on the other side. There we go, perfect. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to extend out the this cube, the width of it. So I'm going to select this face over here, and using the green arrow, I'm going to drag it out to make it a little bit wider. This is going to form the chest part of my model. This is going to be around the shoulders and head. The arms are going to come out of here, and we're going to extrude down to create the lower torso here. So let's select that bottom there, and what we're going to do is press E for extrude, and we're going to extrude down the torso a little bit. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my view mode, and I'm going to go view from, let's have a look, left, there we go, perfect, okay. And it needs to be roughly the same kind of size as the chest is. And then we're going to go to edge select mode. We're going to select what's going to be around the waist area, that edge there, so we can see I've selected that, and using the green arrow we're going to drag that in. And the waist kind of goes in a bit more compared to the chest. Go back to your face select tool and select the side of your upper chest there, and what we're going to do now is we're going to extrude out an arm. It's going to be a bit thick at first, but we can sort this out later. So I'm going to go back so I can see by clicking the view and the left button, so I can see perfectly straight onto my model. I'm going to press E for extrude, and I'm going to press, this is going to be the upper arm now, so the bicep. And I'm going to press E to extrude again to make the lower arm, and roughly the same kind of size. They're looking a little bit large, so I'm going to press Ctrl and Z. Go back a step, change the width of that, and E for extrude again, and there we go. And we can see they're about the same kind of size-ish. And we can always kind of go through in a minute and make this a bit better. Now I'm going to select the bottom of my torso again. Go back to my left view, and I'll drag that down a bit more. And then using the edge select tool now, we're going to go and we're going to select the armpit, and we're going to drag that up a bit. In fact, we can, using Control, we can select, or Shift even, not Control, we can select the elbow and the arm and drag those up. And likewise, we can select where the wrist is going to be and drag that up there. And there we go, perfect. And last little bit, we are going to extrude the hand there. And that needs to be a lot shorter. There we go. And once again, use the edge select tool and just drag that up. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to select the bottom of the torso again. And we're going to extrude down. And this is going to be kind of the crotch area. And then go back to our front view, and we're going to extrude the legs here. So press E for extrude, and E for extrude again. And we can see that we've made the legs longer than we've made the other parts of the arm, and they want to be about the same kind of length, the upper leg, so the thigh, and the lower leg, the calf. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn mirror off, and I'm going to make a couple of changes here. So I'm going to select the lower leg, and I'm just going to move it over a little bit, and when we turn it back on, There we go, a bit better. Now what we need to do is we need to make the feet. So to do that, we're going to use the loop select tool. Oh, and we're going to click it on the lower calf, and we're going to cut about there, and then use the edge select tool to drag out the foot. There we go, perfect. In fact, we'll even go one step further. We'll use the extrude tool, so we'll extrude out, and then use the edge select tool to just bring down the foot area. There we go. Okay, we've got a basic human figure kind of coming together, and we can sort out some of the proportion later. What I'm going to do though is select the back of the kneecap area, or what's going to be the kneecap area, using edge select, and I took that in a little bit. And likewise, I can use the shift and click to select the back of the foot, and move that in as well. And there we go, it's kind of coming together in a basic sense now. Next thing we need to do is going to extrude up to make the head and the neck, so we go back up to the top of our model and hit E for extrude, and then use the edge select tool to drag over to make the neck, and drag it in, and then E for extrude again to make the head, and we're going to use the loop cut and slide tool once again, and we're going to drag that down there. And now that we've sliced there, we've got the neck going in, and we've got a slice around the neck area. I'm going to select the side of the head again. We're just going to move that out, and there we go, perfect. Okay, so if we look at it from the front on, we can see we've got a very, very basic human model here. So I'm going to click left. There we go. Now the proportions aren't all quite right yet, but that's okay because we're going to work through those. It looks to me, in fact, that kind of the arms are a bit shorter than they should be. I probably should have stuck with my original dimensions there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort those out now. So I'm going to select, using the edge select tool again, I'm going to select it all around the elbow by holding down shift and right clicking, and I need to make sure that I right click all four of those edges there. And we'll move that along, and same again for the wrist area, hold down shift and right click those four edges and drag that along. And now the end of the hand, we can use the face select as this is the last part, and use the green arrow to just drag that along. And let's look at our human model again. There we go, it's coming together a bit more. So if we look at it front on, it's definitely got kind of a human silhouette going on now, which is what we want, which is good. There's still a couple of areas that we can go through and add a bit more detail to, so that's what we're going to do now from the front. And we're going to use the loop cut and slide tool to do these, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select around the bicep. I'm going to click there, and we're just going to add a little bit more definition to the muscle, so we've sliced halfway through that one. Select the top, and just pull that up, and there we go. And then around the elbow, we're going to drag that in a bit more. And we'll just fine tune it from a front only view at the minute. And another area is going to be around the waist. And we've got the crotch there, so there's our waist there. I'm going to loop cut and slide once again around there, and we'll just drag that out just a little bit to a little bit more definition. And likewise with the knee, we're just going to use loop cut and slide once again around the knee kind of area. And And now we'll do around the calf. So we've added there, and we'll just tuck in the leg there, and tuck in the back of the kneecap again a little bit more. And what we're doing now is we're just going to sort out our silhouette of our model just from the back, and using the vertex select tool I'm going to select the crotch on the front and hold down shift to select the back as well, and we're going to drag that down a little bit, and then I'm going to select around the waist area. There we go. So it's looking a bit more like a proper human model now. Okay, good. We're also going to add one more loop cut around the wrist kind of area, and we're going to drag that up a little bit. And we'll add one more around the top of the forearm as well. Okay, so very basic base mesh. Next thing we need to do before we start adding any more modifiers to this is we're going to turn off our mirror on the y-axis, and any polygons that are going to be where the mesh joins the other side when we add the mirror. So for example, this polygon, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So if I hold down shift and right clicked all those to select them, if I have a look, those are the polygons we can see there that are going to be on the inside of the mesh when we join the two halves together. We need to delete them. So go through and using shift and right click, select all of those that will be where they join, and let's remove those faces. Go over to delete submenu, and make sure you click delete faces, and there we go. We can see now that it's hollow on the inside, and perfect. Next thing we need to do, we're going to come out of that, and good. We'll add one more change, and that's going to be we're going to extend out, or we'll push in the neck a little bit on the front. So use your edge select tool, and there we go, push in the neck. Good, that's much better. And obviously the head's got a long way to go yet, but that's fine, we'll get there. We'll also pull it up a little bit at the top, and pull out a little bit at the bottom, and we'll add a loop cut in on the middle. And it's a little bit wide, to be honest, as well. So we'll maybe push that neck in to the side a little bit more. And there we go, we can see it's coming together, and we'll just pull it out at the back as well. So it's just adding a little bit more definition. Now don't worry about it too much, because we are going to go through and fix this. Next thing to do, we need to thin out the arms. So if I right click the side of the hand, the front side, and then I hold down control, and select all the way to the forearm, and we'll push, in fact we'll go all the way by the last part of the arm there, and we'll pull that in, and actually pull that in, and likewise at the back. Okay, let's have a look at this from our object mode. Okay, very basic human mesh at the minute, but that's fine. We're only making a basic one today because what we're going to do is we're going to sculpt over the top of it in a while. So, next thing to do is I'm just going to select my cube, which is my person. I'm going to rename it person base mesh, and just because I'm a bit of a stickler for stuff going wrong, I'm going to duplicate it using the duplicate settings over here. I'm going to press escape on my keyboard. So I've got 2 copies of it now. I'm going to move this copy over here out of the way, and then I'm going to tick off the eye, edit and render options. I'm going to reselect my initial base mesh over here. Now what we're going to do, in the modifier settings, under your mirror modifier, which is under the spanner icon here, click apply, and we are going to add on a multi-resolution modifier. And if we click that, in a minute nothing's happened. We can't even tell we've added on a modifier. But if we go over to here where it says subdivide and subdivide it a couple of times, we can see we've made more polygons, but it's smoothed out our mesh. And we're also going to go over to the left hand side and click smooth shading under the tools submenu. There we go. So we've created a very basic human base mesh there. Now what I would do is subdivide it another time, and then if you go into your sculpt mode, you can now start to even out some of this sculpting, some of your modelling there, and adding in more details that you want. So I like to use the wax tool, the clay tool even, for this. And I'm going to increase the radius and start to add on. There's a bit of stomach there. Smooth that out. Add on the chest area with a bit more definition. And let's just double check. I'm going to go Control Z a couple of times. Just make sure you've got symmetry on to the right axis. So under the options here, symmetry lock, make sure mirror is set to Y for me, and you'll see that whatever I do on one side, it does on the other, and that's halving my modelling and sculpting time. And smooth that out. Add on a bit more shoulder definition, a bit more muscle definition there, and smooth out. And just go through and start to work on that model and make it a bit more perfect. So, a very simple base mesh, and you can see we're now starting to add on those kind of human details that you can clearly tell it's a person, and any kind of little problems that you've come across while you've been modelling, you can kind of fix now using this. And don't forget that if we're really not happy with how it's going at the end of it, then what we can do is go back over here and we can turn off and modify to see our original one, or we could even just click the X to get rid of it, or go down the preview on sculpt settings, and we can see we've still got our original base mesh. Until we hit apply, we haven't increased the actual polygon count of it. We can still edit it, and we can still go back to our initial one. So good luck, I look forward to seeing your models, and have fun.